Welcome back into college football now. I am Tom Downey. Today's video, we're breaking down the top 25 recruits, where they signed, if they've done so, and if they are still committed or uncommitted, where they could end up heading for this upcoming college football season. Going from 25 to 1, at number 25, Justice Haynes, the running back. He has signed, and I guess it's still faxed over, his letter of intent to Alabama. Another running back, Rueben Owens, is signed to Texas A&M. He's just ahead of Haynes, 25 and 24. One of our only few remaining top uncommitted recruits, that is Desmond Ricks, the cornerback who appears to have a scheduled commitment date. Those things can change sometimes. They're kids after all. Thursday around 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, I believe is the time, give or take, the whole college football pageantry, etc. The final three teams that Ricks took visits on appear to be the final three contenders. The Florida Gators, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and the LSU Tigers. Now, Ricks is familiar intimately, that's the word, right? With Alabama and LSU, of course, Eli. But Desmond, we'll see what he ends up doing there. LSU's been pushing hard for him. Would be a big get for Florida, LSU, and, of course, team that already has the number one recruiting class, as we broke down Wednesday night, Alabama Crimson Tide, running away with it. So who ends up getting Desmond Ricks? F for Florida, B for Alabama, or L for LSU. I did go B for Bama, which doesn't stick with the A part, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me know who ends up getting Desmond Ricks. Alabama also got number 22 overall prospect edge rusher Qua Russaw. I think I'm pronouncing that name correctly, but by the way, Russaw for an edge rusher. I'm a big believer. If you've got an awesome name, you're going to be a great football player. Russaw as an edge rusher, let's go. Future star. He's 22. He signed and committed to Wednesday on signing day. Cedric Baxter Jr. finishes up our first batch of 5 here, 3 running backs in that group. He is committed to Texas, and I do think there could be a really big, successful season for Baxter down the road, assuming Steve Sarkisian is still their head coach. I mentioned great names. Here's my favorite one that I hope I pronounced correctly. Samson Okunlola. I think that's right. Okunlola, one of the two there. Sorry if I got it wrong there, Samson. First name's Samson, and you're an offensive tackle. Future first-round pick. There's no way around it. Was committed to Auburn, goes to Miami, though. He's number 20 overall. He has signed, along with another Texas player, linebacker Anthony Hill. Now, A&M had made a push for him, could not pull it off. He has signed with Texas as well, like most, but not all of the prospects, or I should say recruits, on today's list. Now, it used to just be that National Signing Day was the way to get talent to your team. Not so much anymore. The transfer portal has totally changed college football and the way we engage with it as well. So what do you guys like more, recruiting or transfers? I kind of go transfers more now. It's free agency in college football. What do you like more to enjoy more? It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let us know. R for recruiting or T for transfers. Number 18, James Smith, the defensive lineman committed to Alabama, was uncommitted before Wednesday, signing day, and has signed as well. Alabama has cleaned up this year. Next up is Duce Robinson, the tight end who, as of now, as of filming, so if things change, please don't yell at me, he is uncommitted. He has announced his reported final 5, however, in no particular order. The Texas Longhorns, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the USC Trojans, the Georgia Bulldogs, and the Oregon Ducks, a true nationwide group of teams interested in adding Robinson. Would seem like maybe USC and Georgia are the big teams there, which makes sense. Georgia's done a great job of developing tight ends, especially namely Brock Bowers as of late, and I would also be interested to see how he could thrive in the Lincoln Riley offense, which is always a good thing to have. More recruits coming, but do you know how much your subscriptions are really costing you? We are free here at Chat Sports, but not everything is. And most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions. The actual total cost is closer to $200 or more. That's right. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you didn't even know about. Remember, that's the average, which means there's a lot more with more than that amount of money. There's this app I love using that takes care of this potential problem for me. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place and cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for, maybe one you'd been double charged for. To cancel a subscription via Rocket Money, all you have to do is press cancel. That's it. There's no trying to log back in, dealing with customer service, none of it. Rocket Money takes care of it for you simply by pressing cancel. So get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/NFL Daily. That's rocketmoney.com/NFL Daily. Optimize your finances, take control of your subscriptions, and potentially save hundreds of dollars with Rocket Money. Links in the comments section and the description on today's video. Nyckoles Harbor next up here, the athletes. Uncommitted at this point, good size, 6'5", 225. Number 1 recruit out of D.C., very interesting to see what ends up happening here. There are 3 teams that have been in the mix for Harbor: Maryland, Michigan, and South Carolina. The crystal ball says South Carolina. I would still not rule out Michigan or Maryland in this pursuit of Harbor. Curious where he ends up playing, of course, at the collegiate level as well. But a lot of big-time teams were in the mix, and Harbor's whittled it down to those 3. In the top 15 we go. Durian Dickey, who as of filming has not signed, but I haven't seen any real buzz of him committing anywhere else at this point. I think part of it is that Oregon, some of their bigger names haven't signed yet, including their big flip of the day among several. Peyton Bowen, the safety, was committed to Notre Dame. He flipped on National Signing Day. He's going to Oregon as the Ducks rallied from this could be bad to they flipped some big-time guys to close out and end up with a pretty darn good recruiting class. Top 13 coming up, but first, before we break down that, I'm once again asking you guys to subscribe. NFL, NBA, college football videos, we do it all here at Chat Sports. So help us out. Hit that sub button for free right now and get multiple videos each and every single day sent right to your phone. Number 13, Damon Wilson, signed to Georgia, was previously uncommitted. It has not been the best Bulldogs class. They've had a number 1 class. This year it's Bama, but it's a darn good one, and it's led by Wilson. Number 12, speaking of flips, this was a big-time one. Kadyn Proctor was committed to Iowa. Alabama swoops in and poaches the number 1 recruit in the state of Iowa a couple days before National Signing Day, or I should say a day before National Signing Day. Big boy could see some early playing time. One of the earlier flips, kind of like I'll call it the week of signing day cycle, Dante Moore was committed to Oregon, ends up flipping to UCLA. He is only the number 5 quarterback on this list. That's right, 4 QBs in the top 10 of this year's 2023 recruiting class rankings. We are, by the way, using the 24/7 Sports composite because that's the industry standard. Keon Keeley, next up here, edge from Alabama, and you're starting to see why there's a lot of Bama names on this list, why they end up with the number 1 class, aren't you? They have a massive group of 5 stars and 4 stars. David Hicks, Texas A&M. There have been other programs pushing to flip him. As of filming, Hicks is only committed to Texas A&M. He has not, at least publicly, sent in that letter of intent. Another offensive tackle for Miami. It makes sense. Mario Cristobal getting 2 of the best ones this year. Francis Muoga, I think I got that right. I'm not sure. There's no pronunciation guides these days like there are for true colleges. And he is signed with Miami. So, too, for Oklahoma has signed is number 7 overall recruit quarterback Jackson Arnold. Now, maybe he's got a last name as his first name and a first name as his last name, but he's a damn good football player. Arnold, out of Texas, is the number 1 player in the state. He goes to Oklahoma. Caleb Downs, the top safety in this year's class out of Georgia, top player in that state as well. He goes to Alabama. That is the highest-rated Crimson Tide recruit in this year's cycle. Top 5 coming up. Who do you think is the best recruiter, though, in college football? I will specify head coach only, so don't go weird with, like, the recruiting coordinator or something like that. Just head coaches. Who's the best? I'm going Nick Saban, but I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Ooh, it might be Deion Sanders now that I think about it. We'll see. He's still early. Zechariah Branch, South Carolina, out of Bishop Gorman, that powerhouse Las Vegas high school. Number 1 receiver, number 1 Nevada prospect. If I were a wide receiver, I think I'd want to go play for Lincoln Riley. I feel like that would lead to really good results for me in my potential professional career. All right, let's get to a quarterback. We're in the top 4, And Tennessee's recruit is the number 3 quarterback in this class. I'm going to try to pronounce the name right. I'm sorry if it's wrong. Nico Iama, thank you, producer Petey, who's our Tennessee video. Iama Leava. It's Leava. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That is a very difficult name, but eventually, just like DJ Uyunglele and Tua Tagovailoa, we'll get there. We just need more practice. Big get for Tennessee. He is the number 4 player out of California. Or, excuse me, the number 2 player in the state of California. My bad, 4 overall. He's going to Tennessee. Another quarterback, Malachi Nelson, the California boy sticking around, going to USC, and I think that makes sense. It's a good spot with Lincoln Riley, and we'll get to, in theory, throw with Zechariah Branch, who I wouldn't be surprised if they were roommates in college. That's what you do. You pair the quarterback and the receiver together, build that chemistry. Situation worth monitoring here for Cormani McClain, the number 2 overall recruit, the cornerback out of Lakeland, Florida, did not sign on signing day with Miami. And allegedly, Deion Sanders is already communicating with McClain, trying to get him to go to Colorado. That sounds familiar. We did that with Travis Hunter not that long ago. Could Deion do it again in back-to-back cycles? That is one worth monitoring. Everyone else on this top 5 is signed, including the number 1 overall recruit. That is Arch Manning, Texas-bound, number 1 from Louisiana, number 1 QB, number 1 overall. Some incredibly high levels of hype for Arch Manning, in large part because his last name is Manning. So will Arch Manning live up to the hype? Can he even live up? I feel like if he's not a first-round pick, he doesn't live up to it, right? Like there's some pretty big expectations there for Arch Manning. Steve Sarkisian, see if he plays it all this year, maybe redshirt year, maybe he gets the 4 games and redshirts as the backup, but a lot of hype around Arch Manning. Will he live up to it? Y for yes, N for no.